news regarding Halo Infinite. So 343 Industries or Studios, they're the ones who are making Halo Infinite, and they decided to react to the criticism that we covered in last week's episode for Halo Infinite. So let's kind of go over what they kind of talked about. So it's one of those things where some people were giving him a pass, other people were like, no, this isn't good enough, and they kind of just decided to go through a host of you know issues. So all right, the graphics. So their reasoning for the way the graphics look is that they decided to shift back to legacy aesthetics that define the original trilogy. Now, like I said in the last episode, that to me doesn't make any sense because Halo 1 and 2, they were on the original Xbox. Halo 3, Halo ODST, and Halo Reach, they were on the 360, and the graphics improved uh, from each major iteration. I guess Josie brought up a good point. 1 and 2 really wasn't a big difference, if a difference at all, because it was on the same console. But there definitely was a difference between 3 and Reach, I believe. And then 4 increased, and then 5 went backwards, and then they're saying this one is going backwards too to look more like the older series. Uh, I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that. I always expected Halo to eventually reach a photorealistic point, because that's the way I envisioned it when I, looked at the books or even saw their short film. I just wanted the realism of being Master Chief in the real world. So, but that's what they're going for. They wanted cleaner models and less noise. So the next thing was the visual fidelity. Um, there was a lot of criticism on that, and Digital Foundry actually did a good video on that, and they actually watched it, believe it or not. So shout out to Digital Foundry. They're watching you. So the complaints were simple textures, dull and flat lighting, as you can see here. So their excuse was it was an old build, several weeks old. It wasn't the newest build, and they're going to work on it. That's what they said. So I mean, just look at this weapon. I mean, it looks so plain. It looks like it's just like a plastic. Like you could 3D print this weapon yourself at home. um, so all right, they don't have any details on the multiplayer. But are not focused on big battle arena fights. Now, big battle arena fights were a cool feature, I believe, in Halo 4. And that was actually one of the features I enjoyed in Halo 4. So they said they're not, I don't think they're going to do that. Um, the game is going to be open world. There's going to be very limited kill barriers or return to battlefield messages. So that means you're going to be able to go wherever you see. So obviously that's going to be a limitation on the graphics, but it is interesting, and I am going to be excited to see that. And the campaign will support 2-player couch co-op and online 4-player co-op. So this is the campaign. This is what the trailer focused on, and that's what they're focused on. I don't think they said if the game is going to even ship with multiplayer, which would be another disaster. But I don't know. I don't know. So there is going to be a battle rifle. You're going to have there's a new high-powered pistol and a tactical shotgun similar to the older versions of the game, like the Magnum And the campaign target is going to be 4K at 60 frames per second. So, yeah, I mean, I think that's the default minimum these days. I don't think there's anything necessarily special about that. And Halo Infinite will be available on PC, on Xbox Game Pass, and on Steam. And obviously on the Series X. So, yeah, you're going to be able to play online on PC, which is what I'm going to do. I don't think at this point, I don't think I'm going to buy the Series X. I'd rather just pick up Game Pass or buy the game on Steam. So I think that's a good option, and I'm glad they did that finally. And you can still choose between normal, heroic, and legendary. Obviously, the campaign, I believe, is going to be console locked. And oh wait, never mind. I'm sorry. The full game, I believe, is going to be on PC. And there's all new composers for the soundtrack. There's going to be a new and improved Forge system. The Forge system was something that me and my friends loved back in the Halo 2 eras and in Reach. We used to make maps that resembled like our favorite maps in like Counter-Strike. Remember Ice World? We had one of those, and it was fun. So they're going to have a new improved Forge system. And there's going to be a esports, some type of esports system. So what that means, I don't know. I assume they're gonna try to make it an esports friendly game, and they're going to have some system in the game that allows them to do that. So, yeah. So that was everything that they covered as far as concerns from the fans. So the next piece of news regarding Halo Infinite. So there was a famous Xbox leaker who leaked that it was going to be free to play. So Microsoft came out and they confirmed it. Halo Infinite multiplayer is going to be free to play and will support 120 frames per second on the Xbox Series X. Now, does that mean it's going to have 120 frames per second on PC? I would assume so, because they try to stick to the same architecture. So, yeah, so I think that's an interesting move. So, what does this move tell me? It tells me that Microsoft is kind of looking at the gaming ecosphere right now, and they're seeing that all these first-person shooter games, third-person shooter games, they're coming out and they're free to play. It's kind of hard to make a multiplayer first-person shooter buy only these days because there's so many options. You got Fortnite, you got Apex Legends. I mean, I just played one on the Switch the other day, Rogue Company. Didn't like it that much, but it's free to play. So, and then Hyperscape. That's going to be another one. So yeah, I think they're just reading the ecosphere, and they're doing what they got to do to make Halo Infinite successful. Now, time will tell if it is successful. But if it looks good when it comes out and people enjoy it, I'll probably get the PC version on Game Pass or Steam.